$14.99. Suavitel fabric softener $16.99. Essential everyday apple juice $7.99. Arm & Hammer liquid detergent $31.99. Shop smart, shop value mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a
Value Mart.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Hey guys, and we're back, and I'm happy to hear that you're hearing us. If you're hearing us, just type in some
Tea emojis.
tea.
Some teapot emojis.
Oh, teapot emojis. Yeah. Hit us with some teapot emojis in the comments if you could hear us. And yeah, hoping that everyone on the radio
Can still hear?
us. There we go.
Yes, but we were talking about how ridiculously easy it is for you to get nominated.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite shocked.
Really?
Yeah, I
What
don't
you
know.
thought you had to do?
I don't know. I thought like you had to be a part of a party. The party have to put you up, sign you up, do something.
Parties. The word, I don't even know if the word party like exists in the. It doesn't exist in the Constitution, I don't think.
Interesting.
And I don't think it even exists in the electoral, like in the act that governs like elections. Who knows? Maybe.
I don't know. I for sure don't know.
Yeah. That don't mean the parties don't play a role. Like obviously they do. Like I used to be one of them that was kind of upset with the whole party politics and thing like that. And that's only because I'm upset with the tribalism and the thing and like just how ingrained people get. Like, you know, we fall into these teams and stuff like that. But they do play an important part.
I have a theory.
Oh.
No, that's the exact music we need.
Tell us, Jade.
I'm starting to think that the parties are cults. The people behaving like they're in a cult as them.
I mean, I don't know if that's so much of a hot take.
It's quite strange. It is very strange. The way they're behaving, it literally reminds me of, you know, what Jim Jones cult and what the other good cult. Give me another good one. What a one that had all kind of naked people in there.
What about the one in Jamaica the other day?
Yes. Bro, I'm so confused why they behaving so.
Let me tell you something, right?
But they're scaring me.
August 6th. I don't know who gonna be balling, but a lot
And
of
I know me.
tears gonna shed though.
But actually, I might cry from laughter. Because the way I feel like some of y'all going to behave, it's going to tickle my spirit special.
You know, I was thinking about this morning,
What?
and yeah, Jade, I actually got back to sing it again this morning.
What?
Came straight here. Well, not straight here. I went and changed, but yeah. Anyway, what I was thinking about this morning is, you know, there's a possibility. It's actually a very real possibility, but now I was considering it. That Nevis going to have 3 elections in 1 year.
Oh.
Because we have one coming up here.
And then I still have...
The local, like the Nevis Island elections due. So those could be called by the end of the year for sure. Some people thought it was going to be this year. And then we could go back to the polls for federal again.
Why?
I've been saying that is my biggest concern about this.
Listen,
What,
we don't have time for that, you know?
You haven't been listening to me, Jade?
We don't have no time for that.
I keep saying that is outside of the hope that there is no violence, whether on the lead up or directly following the election. My next biggest hope is that whoever gets elected, they're able to find a way to govern together.
Yeah, they have to, you know? Because let me tell you something. One thing we're not about to do is this over again, eh? Not until the next 5 years. So these people, whoever y'all choose, got to understand this is your last until 2027. Okay? We're on a more election in us. I can't go back to no paint walls and lives every night and cars driving around disturbing me sleep. I was like, you crazy?
Hey, the cars with the horns. I know it's one thing for the
No,
people
I've had
moving
enough.
about their day, right? You know what I feel sorry for? The people who can't move about their day. So like all the people who like work in the areas where these things just keep passing. I was talking to a girl. She works in a restaurant, right in the heart of town, and she is going insane. But she said, "I can't take it no more. Every 5 minutes, it's just this lot of noise. It ain't even so good." Blah, blah. I said,
Exactly as him.
yeah. But
Noise. Every single day is noise. Whether it's noise from a live, a rally,
are your neighbors?
meeting.
Are your neighbors who have different political views living in one house?
Like, bro, y'all driving us crazy, man. Y'all officially driving us crazy. I see people on Facebook non-stop. Every time I go over there, I just be like, you know what, I can't do it. Can't do it. Let me come off because over there is ghetto.
Well, I mean,
Absolute ghetto.
I've been off for a while, so.
As in over there, it's just people abusing one another for political choices, you know.
See, this is my thing. My thing is I don't mind the discourse. I don't mind the back and forth, but the level of the discourse is what gets concerning.
It is
like
okay.
we should be discussing these things. We should be having these discussions.
They should be
Yeah.
discussing the policies and
Right.
that's not what they're discussing.
That's what I'm saying. The level of discourse is concerning.
Me tell you.
Who ain't abusing one another, mother? Who ain't telling people wait till the thing you ain't.
How much this party don't do for you and this.
You're ungrateful. You're this and that.
You mean the person who we elect to run the... You mean the person who's supposed to be actually doing things for the country? I'm so confused.
No, but
Y'all
Jade,
expect
but Jade, it's not for you to decide what I should do. One, with my vote, what my deciding factors should be. No, it's not for anybody to decide. But what I'm saying, we could have discussions on wider issues. I think part of the issue is that when I speak to people, like regular people, not people who tend to be associated with parties and stuff like that, they don't really see, and people don't like it when I say this, but again, I'm repeating what I've been told. So if you vex with them. People don't see a lot of divergence in terms of the political ideologies of the parties and stuff like that, right? So you got to find other things to argue about. You can't argue about, well, whether or not we should have this type of taxation versus this type of taxation. You can't argue about this type of political system versus this type of political system. So what you have to do is argue about who the gets and who the not getters are, and you have to argue about who benefit and who the non-beneficiaries are, and them kind of things. And who personality you like and who personality you ain't like, and who just don't catch your fancy. The other thing that been annoying a lot of people I've been talking to has been the canvassers. And not...
One called me yesterday and I was so... If the young lady listening, I'm sorry, but I was so annoyed. So annoyed.
Well, what's been happening is not the fact that the canvassers are canvassing, but sometimes the approach leaves a lot to be desired.
Bro, let me tell you my experience. Sorry. I keep laughing because after I come off the phone, I realized how funny it was. They called me. I was like, I want you to give your support to this candidate. I was like, why? That's literally what she called me. I was like, she just wants me to give me support to this candidate.
This is somebody who you have a relationship with then?
No, I don't know this. I don't know who it is.
Oh, we reached that part there.
It was literally bling bling. Hello. Good afternoon. So I'm like, this can't be a business or somebody who know me because like
But nothing actually happening now.
let's get to the point here. I just want you to I call in for you to pledge your support behind this candidate. I literally was like, why? Because they need it.
What? Because they need it? I mean, that is the crux of the matter.
I mean, obviously, ma'am. And then I was like, that was like, something. I was like, I'm going to speak to them personally because, yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, I've been getting some of the stories, and some of them are just so funny. One of them, a person told me, his daughter was leaving the house as the canvassers were coming across the street, and the candidate who was part of the canvassing party just kind of walked up to her and was like, "Hey, we got to get them vagabonds out of here, Jade, that in itself had me crying, right?
Like what?
But the funniest part about it is, one of the said vagabonds is a girl cousin.
You see, that's how much you do the homework. If you had just did a little homework, you would have realized maybe this is not the approach I need to take with this person.
But how is that the approach you take with anybody, Jade?
Listen, I don't know. See, somebody said, Jade, you're not lying. They did the same thing to my hubby yesterday. He was like, the person was so dry, had no substance. Listen, I was like, what is happening here?
I spoke to another person. He told me, and he's very open. Mm-hmm. So he has been telling me,
Get them vagabonds.
we got to get them vagabonds out of here.
I mean, that is actually funny.
So then the other one said, like, he was looking forward to talking to the candidates. He does not know.
But
He doesn't personally know one of the candidates in his constituency.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been waiting to see, hey, would I get an opportunity to talk to him in one forum or next? Said he's teaching a class after school, summertime, but afternoon class.
I keep forgetting it's summertime. Being late you.
Yeah. And then the candidates coming across the road said,
I know they say it when they talk. Oh, go ahead.
So he said, good afternoon. He said, here, inside, good afternoon. So he looks outside and sees the candidate. So he's like, oh, I'm excited now because I've been wanting to talk to this guy. Mm-hmm. Right? He's heard him on the media. Mm-hmm. And he said, he sound good. Mm-hmm. he said, hey, good afternoon. He stepped out the door. The candidate hit him with a, you ready to get political?
You're making up this story that I don't like it. Why you lying? Why you lying? Why are you lying, Azim?
I'm telling you.
No, he did that.
He said, you ready to get political?
I don't close.
The man was there like, what? Like the man said, I was so excited to talk to you. You just, what?
What y'all doing? What are y'all doing, bro? Who taught y'all this?
How about a simple good afternoon? Hey, if you have a few minutes, I'd love to talk to you about, about some of your concerns and some of my plans for the community.
I feel like you're making up this.
Jade, I'm dead serious.
Wholeheartedly, I feel like you're making up this.
Jade, somebody on the live can come and tell you they've been having similar experiences. You can, and no, the thing for me is that generally, if you're hearing these stories from canvassers, we could say by somebody, and this does happen as well. This does happen as well. Where
sometimes
Jade, I can call the person when we leave in so they could get the story.
Yo.
So sometimes sometimes you could say, okay, you may have misjudged on the persons who you have in the canvassing party. They might not know how to massage certain situations.
Like my experience yesterday, and the lady on it, okay, that's understandable because it's a canvasser.
But coming from the candidates,
as a mega liar, right?
And this is in the same. This is two different candidates in the same constituency. Yeah?
The kind of laugh I would allow, right?
I was so confused. I was so confused.
What else can you be?
I was turned off.
What else can you be but confused?
He had work say, you ready?
Yo, close the door and go me out. Who are you speaking to like this, sir? Are we at the Elmo? Are you a character? What is happening?
Oh my gosh.
I not take election serious. I convinced I take election serious.
Oh my god.
Because ain't nowhere. Ain't nowhere. Where from? Which constituency?
I said it, Jane.
No, just say which constituency no. It's three people at him. They can't just guess. Which constituency? That's all. That's all. I'm not because I know exactly what it says. Only what?
No, Jade, I was very surprised at who it was.
Okay, if you're surprised, I know exactly who it
Yeah.
is, then what?
No, it is. But yeah, we're
Yikes.
gonna have to. I told you, I worked on Obama's 2008
And nobody call you?
campaign.
Nobody call you?
No, I was a small fry. Nobody.
Oh.
I would not.
You help get him elected?
Even though we've said that a couple of these parties probably need to link us for some assistance. Eh?
Because I know, no way. Nobody we representing was gonna go out and say that.
I don't want them to have like really strong like training sessions for the people that go out and represent them. Sometimes you have to wonder. Because
Yeah.
again,
I hope they would, but
no, but I keep saying one of the problems I think all of the parties actually, even though I have said on here who I think may suffer most from this particular issue.
they will say it in the car. Nobody messaged me to cost me today,
Normal.
Yes.
But I think all of the parties suffer from, finding a balance between, like I keep saying, competence and loyalty. So sometimes you bring the people who are most passionate and loyal to your cause and thing, but sometimes they don't have the touch necessary for this particular task.
Find them something else to do.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things for them to do, and this may not be it.
The person you can send to canvas might not be the same person sent to paint the wall. You understand where I'm coming
You
from?
might need to switch to your
Yeah.
Because, boy, this ain't it bad.
Yeah.
I thought mine was bad, but yours way worse.
You have to get them vagabonds out of here, Jade.
Who you talking
Oh, you mean my cousin?
No, that would have been my exact response. No, the two are just watching each other. You know what it would have looked like? You ever see that meme with Diddy and the dude on the stage? Watching each other back and forth. That's how it would have looked like. Because, what would you call me cousin a vagabond? The other person, why are you pointing at me, sir?
Oh, boy.
What? Anyway, you hear the rob cash and carry?
What?
Yeah, bye.
You mean in Nevis?
I'm going to tell you in a second.
They robbed cash and carry in Nevis. What day it was by?
I'm going to tell you in a second. Let me open up the article. Let me pull up the article. If the article will open.
It is when that was. It was on Saturday.
What is it? On Saturday?
Monday.
It was a Friday. Which would make sense because it would be the busy time, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but this is it was in Nevis.
Well, it says Rams cash and carry robbery on investigation. An investigation is currently ongoing into the robbery that took place at Rams Cash and Carry in Stony Grove, Nevis on Friday, 22nd. A statement from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force confirmed the investigation and said a report was made to the Charlestown Police Station at 2:50 p.m. on the same day. Police said investigations so far have revealed that two gunmen of average build, wearing dark clothes, face masks, gloves, and red sneakers, what I was coordinating by. Two of them just had.
You got to be able to identify your co-conspirator, Jade.
So the mask and the gun wasn't.
Just in case, Jade.
Okay.
In case there were other gunmen.
Well, that what.
At least we know.
Listen.
At least we know we're the ones in the red shoes.
That would have been a heck of a coincidence, eh? Imagine you gonna go rob cash and carry and somebody done robbing it.
Yeah, because I just
Like,
kill your whole afternoon. Like you don't plot out your afternoon for this. You know what I mean?
That's what I tell you.
You don't plot out your afternoon for this, and then here these guys just want to come and rain on your parade.
No, but what do you have us?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but
Oh.
you don't feel away because you already made plans. You probably already had like the getaway.
I suppose they're gonna be gonna have.
Probably done boops the money or whatever. Like
Tell the girl you're gonna buy the shoes them.
exactly. But I'll talk more about that right after you finish with
The
the
boobs in?
article. This particular
Oh!
development.
I thought you had some fish about boobs in. Fright me. I mean, So yes.
I'm not an expert in that field.
I don't know what. So yes, they entered the building and assaulted a number of workers with their firearms.
What?
Lord, man.
I didn't know there was violence. I really didn't know there was violence. Wow.
One of the gunmen then approached the cashier's point and demanded of the manager that money be handed over. Well, let me say something. I would not even wait for him to come. As he busted the door, I done pack in the bag because what else he here for? This ain't a drill.
Yeah, right.
Well, you had to wait for him to ask you. Just throw the money at him.
No, but you don't want to assume what he wants either.
Really?
He has a gun pointed at you. You kind of want to be attentive and compliant. So you don't want to, as a, no pun intended, but you don't want to jump the gun. That's Jade. You may proceed with the article.
Wow. He made out with an undisclosed sum of cash. The other gunman robbed 2 female workers of their purses at gunpoint before both men fled the scene and made good their escape.
So you have an issue with that now?
They robbing the women bad?
Well, you're robbing the purses.
Yeah,
you come to the,
you don't get money from cash and carry.
take the company money.
Well, you're robbing the poor workers. Like, we say you should rob the companies, but we're just saying, if you're done robbing the company.
That is insured. That one of the companies, they insure them kind of things?
Money?
Against some kind of things?
I don't know. I've never tried to rob anybody to find out that type
Like
of
rob
information.
insurance.
I've never seen that type. I've worked for
There-
a company
there must
that
be-
had
there must-
insurance company, and I've never advertised that one, so I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I'm not sure, honestly.
There may be some kind of something.
There must be something in place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, if you're the girl who the boy promised to shoot and you realize you buy them, the police are appealing to you to contact the Criminal Investigation Department at the Charlestown Police Station by dialing 469-5391 or their nearest police station. Yeah.
Okay, so this is sad because it's almost like cultural time coming. People have to be on their guard. No, real talk. I asked somebody from Nevis. I was in Nevis when I heard about it, and I was like, wait, this don't usually happen like next week. And they were like, yeah, boy, they're early this year. I said,
That's the earliest, yeah.
because Jade, unfortunately, there are some lawless people running around who it seems as though cultural more coming up.
Money time.
I don't know if they need extra. I don't know what it is that's happening. I can only assume that perhaps they, because of the, I don't want to believe it's coincidental. So it has to be, there's certain people who instead of saving towards Culturama, decide to go and steal for Culturama.
I mean, there's other ways for you to get money for a culture.
And this had to be very coordinated. I mean, they did it on a Friday. It's cash and carry. Like, I don't know if
As
you
in
know.
that was coordinated down to their shoes.
Yeah, down to the shoes, yeah. Coordination isn't up for debate.
Not at all.
But even if you know where the place is, once you get out the back, they're pretty much just gone.
Right?
And the saddest part about this for me is I don't expect any.
Justice?
Jade, you have to understand, we're talking about a place where someone or some number of persons stole an ATM.
That did happen.
That happened, Jade.
and we've never heard anything else about it again.
Well, we ended up finding the ATM.
Well, of
we
course.
just
I
didn't-
don't
we
think they're
just-
going to keep it in the house.
Yeah, we just didn't find out who actually committed the act.
Interesting. I literally forgot this happened, eh?
You think this is an inside job?
Inside the bank?
No, the Rams thing.
I don't know.
Maybe one of the. Anyway, let me not put anybody in the problems.
Listen, they're going to say oil and tise.
Yeah. But yeah, theft is one thing, and then when you inflict violence on the people that you.
Traumatize the people for no reason.
Yeah. There's no way I could support that.
You're just traumatizing people for no reason, man.
So I would love if persons who do have information really do take the opportunity to share the information. Yeah.
Tisk.
Yeah. Yes, Gawain, they found the ATM.
It was empty-handed.
Yes, Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That makes sense.
yeah. And but not only that, I don't know if you remember you were talking about that. They robbed some, let me not say that. Some persons robbed.
Well, then some persons is different, no?
No. Some persons robbed Republic Bank in Charlestown, Jade. Until now, they can't find out who it
That
was.
did happen as what year?
Jade, it was literally it's Republic Bank. You know, Republic Bank. It's in the middle of town. And it's like, where you gonna run? To the Bay Road?
Yes.
So, like, it's like people had to just see these people, like, running. Like, there was no way. There was no way for them to just, like, disappear.
You know, people doesn't mind their business sometimes. I mean, at the wrong times, but you
I
know.
see something with the economy, you know, but it was
I
just
see
a
like a little
blur.
blur.
It was a blur, yeah.
And a little dollar fly behind me, but I wasn't sure why.
Right. So,
Listen,
yeah, I mean, hopefully this doesn't, fall into that category of
unsolved mysteries.
unsolved mysteries, but it's definitely going to take. And people say the police, and yes, I think sometimes the police don't use all of the tactics available to them. But the truth is, it really comes down to the general public. Like,
Yeah,
the police
was only
wasn't.
a
The
few
police
people,
weren't
man.
there. The police weren't there. Like
How you know?
they need info.
How you know?
Jane? Anyway, you ain't gonna make nobody message me.
I just say how you know that wasn't there. They could have been walking past.
I thought I was
You know.
suggesting I was involved.
No.
Oh.
I'm not me.
Me? No, but I can't take on them things there. Plus, I one of them people, I don't like to look like people. So, it wasn't me.
But you know, it wasn't me neither. 'Cause
I wasn't
bad.
I wasn't coordinating down to the shoes in the
I
band.
can't even coordinate my footsteps.
I don't even like, sometimes this.
I too awkward for them things, but I got fall.
On that note, Jade, I think we need to take a break. Because it's Tuesday and when we come back,
Well,
we have to coordinate with our friends from the Solid Waste Management Corporation.
indeed.
For talking trash. Then today is no different. So guys, we're going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea. Stick and stay.
If you say you love your little dear country, try to do something positively. Be a watchdog for the environment. Don't leave everything to the government. We dump our garbage anywhere, lit on the streets everywhere. Our behavior is telling me that we really don't care. Take some pride in your country. Volunteer to clean where it's dirty. Tourism development needs a healthy environment. Whenever we litter, we threaten our survival. So those who engage in it should be treated like criminals. So don't be afraid at all if they call you an informer. Report those who endanger our future. So if you really love this blessed land, this situation demands attention. Think about the future generation. Do what we can to preserve this island. The laws for littering we must enforce. We have to let justice take its course. If you are a proud citizen, you have the right, you have a reason to save this land from destruction. You have an obligation to become involved in anything which affects this nation.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our NOSI program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Hey guys, welcome back to ILNT right here on Wind Media SKN, and it's Tuesday, so as we said, we are jumping into some talking trash with our friends from the Solid Waste Management Corporation. Nama's in the building. Good morning, Nama.
Good morning. How is everybody?
We are doing well.
Yeah, man.
Most things are. I think I'm doing a quick assessment. Yes.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
It's always a pleasure when you come hang out with us on Tuesdays. I look forward to it. Jay, do you?
Of course. I always miss Nama. Oh, Jade.
Just vibes in here, you know. Just vibes in here.
It's
But
always
Nama,
a pleasure being here, though.
yeah, for sure. And you always come with some useful information and letting
glad
us
you
know
think
that
so.
waste does matter. I know today is not going to be any different. What do you have planned for us today?
Well, today it's pretty much the end of Plastic Free July.
Oh,
I know. So I wanted to discuss some of the things we discussed prior to. A couple weeks ago, we discussed the AAA action plan. So we were supposed to admit that there's a problem, assess the problem, and address the problem. And now, let me put a disclaimer out there. Although it's the end of Plastic Free July, if you only now kind of getting into it and getting the message, still try to practice whatever for an entire month. Because behavior, in terms of change, it wouldn't come within a week or a couple of days. You'd really have to persistently practice that for quite some time, and then it will become ingrained in you, and you'll be able to then form a new habit, which is exactly what we want to do. We want individuals to be able to form new habits. So the AAA action plan was to admit there's a problem, assess the problem, and then address the problem. So in admitting there's a problem, we discussed the fact that if you don't admit there's a problem, you're not going to address it. You're not going to look into it because, hey, in your mind, there is no problem. So I think we need to be very honest with ourselves and admit that there's a problem. Yes, St. Kitts is known for being one of the cleanest islands. However, it does not mean that we are completely clean, and that's where we need to get to. We need to improve. There's room for improvement, especially when it comes to illegal dumping of white goods, etc. I got a call just yesterday indicating that there's an area down Trinity side where persons are illegally disposing of white goods. So their fridge and their this and their that right down basically over a cliff. So even trying to clean that up is going to be quite an issue because in terms of working out the logistics and the type of equipment that would be required to clean that up is not something that's sort of readily available. Also, the impact to the marine life. I know we always say, oh, the marine life. Sometimes we had a panel discussion this Sunday, and one of our panelists was Mrs. King, Mrs. Tricia King, and she indicated that sometimes when they do, so there's beach cleanups and then there's cleanup in the sea itself, in the waters, yes. So they actually go and clean up in the waters, and sometimes, unfortunately, oftentimes, the amount of garbage that's found in the sea is more than what's found on the shore.
Oh, that's kind of intense.
Yeah. So we might see the pristine waters, but underneath that, lodged between the corals and the seabed and this and that, is garbage.
That's insane.
Yeah. And sometimes when you collect all of that, it's more than what's out here. It's more than what's on the seashore. Now, I believe it was earlier this year we did, the MAB did a cleanup Keys Bay. And it was over
1,100 pounds of waste just there in that area. So can you imagine if what's found in the sea is more than that, then we kind of need to do better. And so we need to admit that there is a problem. We do have a problem with illegal dumping, especially of white goods. We do have a problem with persons not disposing of their waste properly when they go to Lime and Party. Now, we're a small island, so we're everywhere is close to the sea. Everywhere is close to a gut. Everywhere is close to something where a waterway is going to pass through. So we don't want to just be indiscriminately dumping our waste and just, you finish with a drink, so you just drop the cup there.
You know, Nama, it does kind of feel like sometimes just based on how our landscape is one, how we populate the island, and especially our drainage situation, it does kind of feel sometimes like the sea is almost our last dumping area. Like, it seems like everything just kind of makes it to the sea.
Yes.
And it's designed that way.
It is actually designed that way. So it starts from the top and it will eventually go down into the sea. So yes, we find a lot of waste uphill. We might find a lot of waste within the communities and so forth, but some of it does get into the sea. If you see waste on the coastline, it means there is waste in the sea.
Yeah.
Now, some of these plastic items have toxins and so forth that the marine life is eating. Now, we all trying to switch and say we want to be healthy, and so, hey, we're going for the fish. But
maybe the fish aren't healthy. And that, that has been something that I've been seeing a lot of lately. Like, they're testing the fish and finding all sorts of things.
Yes.
In the fish, plastics, even medication in some places. It's yeah.
Interestingly, in the same panel discussion that took place on Sunday, and if you want to hear it, you can actually go to I think the Estridge Ebenezer Moravian Church. They have a YouTube page, and you can actually go and listen to the panel discussion, and I believe it was on the radio as well on Sunday itself. So I don't know if there's going to be a repeat or anything of the sort. But Dr. Mandy did mention that sometimes the particles in the plastic, basically, if those and we were talking about turtles now, some of those plastics, the particles, if they were to get in the eggs, which there are instances where they do in the turtle eggs, they actually change the sex of the turtle. So they determine, so you will have an entire generation of male turtles. So it would actually change the sex of the egg. So if it was supposed to be female, it's gonna be male.
Tisk.
So which means there's no reproduction. And that will affect an entire species.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is, my question is, if it does that to the turtles, can it do the same to us?
What? You blow my mind, Nama.
Because turtles are an indicator species. Whatever happens to them is pretty much what's happening to most of the other species and so forth, because they're so sensitive. So at the end of the day, we need to really ask ourselves what we're consuming. What are the long-term effects? Are we going to have generations of entirely male, or are we going to have generations of entirely females? What's going to happen to us? So we need to admit that there is a problem. And then once we've admitted there's a problem, of course, then we assess the problem. So remember, we spoke about, for those of you who had been tuned in a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about not looking to solve the world's problems, but trying to solve your individual problems. So as an individual, you need to determine what your issue is when it comes to plastic. So it really makes, well, at least not to me, it really makes no sense to say, I'm going to cut down on straws when you don't drink from straws. I
She have a
mean,
point there, Jane.
A huge one.
I'm like, yeah. Oh, what are you gonna do for plastic-free July? Or what are you gonna do to change a habit? Oh, I'm gonna cut down on straws. You don't buy no drink from nowhere. You don't. I mean, when you go somewhere, there's some people who just don't like straws. So if you don't like straws, cutting out straws is really not going to be effective because you already don't consume it. So it's important to assess. So what is your plastic in it? What are you consuming in terms of plastic? Is it that when you go grocery shopping, you are so specific that each and every item has to go in its own bag? Or there's some persons who have habits where it is they want to put every single little thing in a different Ziploc bag. So they're probably buying, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes of Ziploc bags because they need to be able to
Isolate and separate
yeah.
their goods, yeah.
So I had a habit back, well, not quite a habit. It was at a point in time when I was trying to, I don't know what I was trying to do, but I think I was trying to be a little healthy in what I consume. And I would buy the nuts and the seeds and the this and the that, and then I'll put them all in my little Ziploc bag so that the little tiny ones, so that I'll have it all sorted out, because I was trying to do meal planning and all of this thing, which for me never worked because I planned my meal and then I did not feel for it. So I still ended up eating something else. So, but there are persons who are very religious and they do that. So if you do that, then try to find perhaps more durable containers. They have those little smaller ones so that you can use those containers instead. So you do your meal planning, but you don't use plastic. You don't use as much plastic, especially single-use plastics. Right? So if you have a sturdier plastic container, a little one that you can then, put your fruits or your this or your that in, that's a much better alternative. So when we are assessing, we need to assess our individual problems, not, plastic straws are a problem, so I am going to put it on my list when you're not a culprit. It really makes no sense. So once we've done that, we've assessed the problem, then of course we address the problem, and we know it's simple to address the problem. Well, simple in that, making the list. But actually putting it into action sometimes is a bit challenging for some of us. Mm-hmm. So don't try to do all at once, of course. And I think we've spoken about this before. Just tackle 1 or 2 things, and every year you improve. So this year you tackle plastic straws if you're a culprit of plastic straws. Next year you tackle plastic bags, and you prepare for that. So, we had some examples, of course, of what we can do to reduce our impact. And of course, number 1 is always avoid plastics. So how do we avoid plastics? I have to answer this.
I mean, there may be people who haven't, really gotten it yet.
But Azim, you got it. Jade, you got it. So should I ask you all then?
Go ahead, Jade. How do you reduce plastic?
You see how Azim do you? Say go ahead.
Bye. Friends,
So, well, I mean, for me, the ones that I'm a big culprit of the shopping bags, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, doing the either the paper bags or the reusable cloth bags. I have a couple of them. I've used them a few times.
I do have a couple. I think the problem is remembering to
walk with them.
Yes.
Especially most times since you're already out without plans of shopping.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's kind of one of them things you do at convenience.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a plan for you.
That's often me. I don't really plan to shop.
Yeah.
I just happen. And then I pick up more than what I was supposed to.
Oh, it's a problem. It's a problem, Nama.
Yeah.
Yes,
However, I have cut down on my plastic cup usage. Yes, so instead of when you go, when you go to a bar or someplace, they usually give you multiple cups. No, I reuse my cup.
Okay. That's great. So you reuse the cup. Question is though, what's your take on the paper straws?
I am the wrong person to ask that.
No, you're the right person to ask.
Because I absolutely despise them.
Everybody does. I don't think there's anyone who loves those straws.
Why would you make
no one
something that is supposed to replace plastic straws but make them in a way that they melt while you use them.
Yeah. I think future generations are going to look back at this time as a very dark time in human development.
Yes, I believe so too. They're gonna really wonder what were
Yeah,
we
it's a paper
thinking
Yeah,
with
you
all
say,
this
we're just sucking up paper
technology.
while y'all drinking? Yes.
The thing is, we actually got this question the other day, and we did offer some alternatives. So walking with your own, like the metal straws or the bamboo straw, like walking with your own straws, kind of popping that into your purse or something like that for the meals. I do not have a solution for you. I don't know if you're gonna put it in your back pocket. I really don't know what you're gonna do.
Well, after the young boys, I'm
but-
using purses now, so
Hey, okay. I'm missing out on something.
man purses. Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
some are quite stylish.
Oh.
The mirth.
Okay. Interesting. So not only do you guys got pockets, but you also have purses too, while we struggle to still have pockets.
I feel the envy, Nama.
It's there. Like,
Yeah.
it's there. Yeah, I'm turning green right now.
You're gonna
like,
have to just deal.
that's why I put pockets in all of my clothing.
Oh.
Yes, I got pockets. But anyways, we digress. But really and truly, in addressing the problem, we do need to cut down on the plastic. So the plastic straws, the plastic bags, the plastic cups. And the thing is, as Jade said, just reusing that cup. It's your cup. You are drinking from it. There's no problem in reusing that cup. And I'm sure the businesses will not mind that. Then buy food that has minimal packaging. Again, we're reducing package. So what we consume, so what are we bringing into our homes? We need to really reduce the plastics that we are bringing into our homes so that we reduce the plastic that's going out. Composting and so forth. For those of you are who are interested in that, definitely do that. So you reduce the waste. Perform transactions electronically. Now, I am a huge fan of that. For me, one of the things is I rarely ever walk with money. I've because of some of the places I've lived in my life, walking with money has or money over a certain amount. I usually have just enough money to be able to get me back home. I do not really walk with money. I don't like to walk with cash. So for me, it's all about to be able to do a transaction. So wherever I buy food, it's usually either I can swipe my card or I can send you via mobile banking or I can send you via JAT or something like that. But for me, cash, I probably wouldn't even be able to afford a drink. I just don't walk with money. So perform transactions electronically so that we can reduce the paper, because yes, paper is also waste that we need to reduce. Repurpose sturdy containers, buy sturdy containers, especially when it comes to plastic containers, so that they can endure for a long time. So you don't need to keep purchasing these things. Donate items whenever possible. So because when you donate, somebody doesn't have to buy. When you buy, you consume plastic. So sometimes you indirectly, so it's not always because you are avoiding plastic. By providing somebody with something, then you can avoid them getting the plastic. So sometimes it's an indirect impact. And then, of course, we have the whole thing of, I think for me, it's ask yourself the question. When you're buying the plastic or you want your food to be packaged a certain way, just ask it, do you really, really, really need your sauce to be in a small, tiny container that's plastic? Or can they just put the ketchup next to the fries?
That's a good point.
Good question.
Because, yes, I don't like my ketchup on my fries. I like it on the side and I dip. But it doesn't have to be. If you don't, so for some of the businesses I know, including my own, we use the paper containers. We don't use the plastic containers. We did it initially, but we converted. But it's not always easy to get these items. In Antigua, of course, now plastic is like totally, it's banned completely. So I remember my mom was in Antigua recently, and my aunt, she loves to cook and my mom does not. So she made a casserole for her and was like, oh, put it in a plastic bag so I'll go with it. And my aunt could not find a plastic bag. She literally could not find a plastic bag within her house. Because supermarkets aren't allowed to give you plastic bags. Nobody is giving you any plastic bags. So there was no plastic bag. And I think we need to get to a place where we completely eliminate, especially single-use plastics within the Federation.
You think we gonna see that type of legislation happening anytime soon? I know, and bear in mind that this isn't anything unheard of, revolutionary. Like so many of our neighboring islands have put legislation in place to really limit or actually just cut out the use of, for instance, supermarket bags. You think we think we're close to that? Either even just limiting or totally like going away from that?
Well, from my understanding, the Federation wants to have a phased approach when it comes to that.
So no, okay, cool.
To me, from what I'm seeing, it's not I wouldn't say like, okay, the government is not leading charge, but I believe it's actually the citizens who are pushing for it. So it's like they're the front runners. So they're choosing to change regardless of whatever policy is in place. We might actually be very surprised if we were to take some, do some surveying and take some data, that there are a lot more persons doing waste separation and recycling, etc. Because fortunately, especially in this instance, we do consume information from outside. And also, as a small island, a lot of persons often go abroad. And when they do go abroad and they see some of these things, they bring them back into their house. They bring back these practices into their households. Unfortunately, now, as it is, the system is not set. There isn't anything in place to really and truly assist in waste separation. So even if at this time you were to separate your waste, it still kind of mixes back up in the landfill. However, not doing so, I wouldn't recommend for somebody to say, oh, just because we're mixing it back up, then I shouldn't do it. I would say still do it because those systems are coming. So unfortunately, yes, the systems, we are behind, a little behind. However, I do believe most entities are trying to catch up in terms of trying to ensure that policies are in place and that legislation will be put in place to ensure that we can really and truly, if not reduce, at least eliminate single-use plastics within the Federation. And I'm hoping, and it is my ardent prayer, that we actually do that. That if it's one thing I do pray for sometimes, it's that.
Yeah, well, time will tell. And like you said, even without that, we're going to have to really develop the, the culture and the habits between ourselves and within our households.
Yeah, because it's a long-standing habit that we've had, so it's going to take some time to.
The thing is it really a long-standing habit? It's a long-standing habit for our generation, but the generation before us, they went with their bags to the supermarkets, the shops within the villages. They went with their plastic bowls to get the black pudding and so forth. Nobody was putting anything in the styrofoam containers for them. They had to go with these containers. So I don't think it's that far removed. I think the challenge will be convenience. We love convenience, and so if anything is inconvenient, we'll give some kind of pushback. However, legislation will go a long way in getting those who you have to force to change. So those who are willing to, they're going to do it regardless. But unfortunately, the majority, you have to force. So if the legislation is not in place, some people just never do it. Ever.
Yeah, I understand.
So, yeah. So I believe that's it for me for today. It was a pleasure being here with you guys again. Jade, I do hope a miracle happens and you're able to coordinate your steps. But you've survived so far. So
Sorry?
you've survived so far, so I think you're fine.
Really, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
But I'm still here.
Yeah.
That's all. That's most important.
Yes. So it was a pleasure being here. And of course, I do hope everyone, if you're just hearing about Plastic Free July, look up on it, read up on it, and you can practice it in August. You know, nobody, I celebrate my birthday whenever I please. So, hey, why can't you celebrate Plastic July and practice, those practices whenever you please as well? There are certain things we can sort of go out of the norm, and there are certain things we kind of have to stay in line. And now, just practice it for at least a month and see how that feels, and then you can add on something else next year. So from us here at Solid Waste, I just want to wish you all a pleasant week, and as always, don't forget, waste matters.
If you say you love your little dear country, try to do something positively. Be a watchdog for the environment. Don't leave everything to the government. We dump our garbage anywhere, lit on the streets everywhere. Our behavior is telling me that we really don't care. Take some pride in your country, volunteer to clean where it's dirty. Tourism development needs a healthy environment. Whenever we litter, we threaten our survival. So those who engage in it should be treated like criminals. So don't be afraid at all if they call you an informer. Report those who endanger our future. So if you really love this blessed land, this situation demands attention. Think about the future generation. Do what we can to preserve this island. The laws for littering we must enforce. We have to let justice take its course. If you are a proud citizen, you have the right, you have a reason to save this land from destruction. You have an obligation to become involved in anything which affects this nation.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our NOSI program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean, because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Watch the trail of the insects stop when you spread a web pop. Flying, crawling, insects are falling when you spread a web pop. Nothing comes close to pop. Pop, the number one brand, serious get pop.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Hey guys, welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It is Tuesday, June 26th.
Nomination day.
Nomination day. Nomination day. But let's take a little detour from the strict politics this morning, no?
As we should.
At least for right now. When we jump into tea time. Yes, indeed. Jade?
So yes, friend, apparently there's mold at the hospital.
Oh,
Not
no.
the hospital. I mean,
Well, yeah, there too.
the
There too. There too.
wrong establishment. I meant the airport.
It's spreading?
It's
No.
spreading.
Oh, boy.
Well, allegedly, because, of course, they're denying it. So, Bureau of Standards to test RLB Airport for mold as operations continue. Now, before I continue this article, what does it look like to you? They look green and black, very foresty green.
So like my Marcy kind of thing in the
The
handstand.
handstand.
That's what puzzling me, you know. You want to tell me the
That's
thing
the
going in
hand
are we
sanitizer.
going in the hand sanitizer?
Or on it. Like, what? I
man.
seen a picture like this, but it was in the roof of the building as well. Yike. So, in an update on the situation concerning the claim of a possible mold infestation at the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw International Airport, Wynne was made aware that a visual assessment of the airport was made on July 22nd by a team from the Bureau of Standards. The information came from an internal memo to airport staff sent to Wynne's news desk. Love it. According to the memo, the visual assessment must be performed before any testing is carried out and was executed to determine the possibility of 1. Water damage, or 2. Possible mold growth on the surface of walls or ceiling tiles. Testing of the air could not be carried out on July 22nd because it was too late to ship the samples overseas to the accredited lab used by the Bureau of Standards, stated in the memo. The test will be carried out, should have been carried out yesterday. In a response to the news of the possibility of mold at the airport, people took to social media and suggested that the issue of mold has been a months-long issue. A voice note making the rounds on WhatsApp locally, our good old news source,
Yep.
from an unidentified person who said they were an employee at the airport, gave a snapshot of the situation on July 22nd, saying the situation of RLB being infested with mold. Everybody is outside. We cannot go inside to work. We've been telling them this for years and nobody has taken us on. Many of us has gotten sick and nobody seems to take us on. And now they are realizing that we have a lot of mold. In conversations with the source, the general operations of the airport continued and staff and travelers were heard complaining about a stench within the building.
Wow.
That's-
I don't even want to laugh about it.
I laugh because I said to sketch me. I forgot. The source did say that the staff and patrons were wearing masks while at the airport because of the COVID-19 protocols. Good thing they were. Well then.
Jade, I think this comes down to one of the issues that we keep bringing up here. There's not enough emphasis put on maintenance of these government buildings and the government institutions. That isn't to say that there isn't people working there all the time, but the manpower, the expertise, the coordination that it takes to fully manage a place like this is immense. So yes, you're going to need janitorial staff, you're going to need landscaping and stuff like that, but you're going to also need people who understand how to maintain buildings, not just specialized maintenance to know to work this particular machine,
Well, that's a problem we have
but
here.
even generally, yeah.
How? Like, one thing about thinkers, they're going to maintain nothing. Nothing except the fire trucks.
We would hope.
The fire trucks is the only thing that
I mean, we haven't heard about the fire trucks showing up somewhere and ain't gonna water in it for quite some time. So
That
kudos.
happened before.
Oh, that has happened many a times. I've seen it happen myself. But yeah. Let's see what this caller says, Jade. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Greetings, Serene Highnesses. Good to be on morning.
Bye. Each route is either that they walk out, you was gonna hit them too hard, so they block you, or
the feds.
the feds are flow. They decide, no man, you can't come keep the talk like that. But yeah, I feel there is.
Yeah, we have a maintenance issue.
Yeah,
I think it's.
yeah, maintenance issue. I mean, when we start talking about and this is not going down a dark road, this is not the topic of conversation, so nobody calling to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we start talking about the issues with the Basti High School, I think a lot of us believe that the situation did not have to get to where it was, and that improper maintenance or lack of proper maintenance may have contributed to whatever the situation may have been.
That's how we feel about a lot of these buildings
Mm-hmm.
that we see dilapidated in a way that they shouldn't be. But
You want to take one more? Well,
yeah, before we talk about what the
Yeah.
airport manager had to say.
Yeah. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up? Oh, let's take the call so at least people could comment
No, that's
based.
fine. That's fine.
I want them to be able to comment based on
Oh,
more
so-
information. Yeah.
Okay. Well, according to the
This is different. This is a different
yes,
not the same story though.
same story.
Okay. Go ahead.
But according to the airport manager, there was no more. So it says the claims that the RLB International Airport is infested with mold was denied by the airport manager. So this is the pictures that I was telling you about. See all of this? No, mainly brightest bulb in the box. But it's look moldish.
But what did he say in particular? Because sometimes semantics is important.
So, according to the RLB airport manager, Joy Richardson, the infestation claims in a conversation with Jermaine Abel. Oh, sorry, he or she had a conversation with Jermaine Abel, and they claimed that it wasn't true. That is not true. A pile was wet, and that is what we know. We have not had any confirmation of any mold or anything. But I don't mean it. Okay. The airport manager also shared that the airport is checked for such substance instances periodically. Yes, we do periodic checks, and some more checks will be carried out. We made several calls to Richardson and the airport's communication team for more information on the situation, but was unsuccessful. So not because you ain't know about it means it happening, eh? Man, if y'all know this, that's not how things work. So yes, y'all could be doing checks. However, these checks don't mean that they have been finding or seeing the correct things. Because, okay, if they mold, what be? Like you saying there was something wet. So the wet thing was in the roof and on the hand sanitizer? I'm confused. Because we, the general public, are seeing pictures of what looks like mold. It's on the hand sanitizer, it's in the roof. I don't know where else it is because I haven't been to the airport in a while.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, actually, it might not be. Might not be. But if you're saying it is not true, based on what? Based on your hopes and dreams? I don't understand. How about the better response being, well, we've heard the claims, we've seen the pictures, and we will do the necessary checks to ensure that this is not an issue, and if this is an issue, we will rectify it.
Right.
No? You just say it ain't happening? How you know? How do you know? Anyway.
I feel. Oh, wow. This is a bit concerning. I mean, unlike some of the other government departments and ministries, we can't just get up and go to our next airport.
No, man. Well, no, I don't think all of us could fit in one in Nevis.
Right? So we can't just get up and just go to another airport or rent an airport since the building that we at right now ain't really working out for us. A lot of that is what's happening. I tell you already, almost every week, you can't keep up with where to find the government buildings. It used to be that if you don't know which building on a specific road belong the government offices in, they would say just look for the oldest looking, most rundown building and go in there. 9 times out of 10, you mean the right building.
Yeah, man. However, well,
what is it?
oh Lord, another GoFundMe. This is
Yeah, I saw that last night.
Well, since I don't click on it, I might as well read this one as well. So, a 3-year-old Junaya is in need of some medical treatment. This is for cancer, a cancer treatment that she's needing.
Oh my gosh, man.
It is, let me see how to gear y'all towards it. I don't know how to describe this.
Just describe it based on the name.
So it says 3-year-old Junaya receives medical cancer treatment, and it's organized by Kevin Miles. Yes, well, I'm reading that one. There's also another one for my uncle. His name is Jared Payne. He was in a terrible accident which involved a bike, and he's also in need of some medical assistance. So, guys, if you feel generous, you can contact me and find out how to donate to my uncle so we can get him the help that he needs, the treatment that he needs, because, of course, we can't do it here because it can't do that, and it's quite expensive. Because, yes, you have to travel and you have to go to a hospital overseas and, do all of these things because, once again, St. Kitts can't do it here. So.
All right, let's see if this caller is still on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Good morning, lady. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Sorry for the wait.
Thank you for accepting the call. But I just want to say that I have never heard anyone complain say for every month they have not received their check from government for the job of which they have to do, or which they did, or which they did not do. So all buildings that government have, they have maintenance being paid to maintain those properties. The other thing is that every household in St. Kitts have mold. Every one of them. I think that most of you who live in a house will know that if you just look in the seam of your refrigerator door, that seal normally reveal it to your naked eyes. And if you look closer and you look high up in the ceiling, where you have lots of hot air trap and dust during a rainy period, you might see it on the wall surfacing. There's a post office in Kayan, supposed to be in Kayan, and everybody move out the building. It's supposed to be the hurricane shelter, and move the post office to Lodge, claiming that the building is full of mold. Mold is at the airport. Mold is in every building that's government owned because they're poorly maintained, even though they are highly paid to be maintained. Personal and private homes having mold. So that, to me, that argument doesn't make much sense. Just clean them up, maintain them, do what you have to do, and keep the buildings going. Don't move a post office from Kayan to Lodge and say that they have mold. That don't make no sense to me. The last thing I want to say, if you permit me, there are sweepers that sweep the drains. And as they sweep the drains, anybody have any idea how those garbage are collected? Well, I can tell you, no one collect that garbage. The guy who sweep the drain, pile it up one side of the drain, and he end back up right in the drain and go down to the ocean. And not only that, to the ocean. The garbage that comes from other islands that comes to St. Kitts, more so on the Atlantic side. And so therefore, we have to be vigilant. We have to look after each other area. And people are still dumping in the gut. So these are the things that we need to look at, rather than saying all these foolish things and big and little and smaller that. Let's discuss the real matters and the real issues. The last thing I want to say is that if someone pay you for your vote, you have no value. So therefore, if someone pay you for your vote, take the money and vote against them. Have a good day.
All right, caller, thanks for your contribution. Appreciate it big time. Yeah, I think we really need to step up. And again, I don't even think it's a matter of the persons there not doing their jobs. I just think that sometimes it may be a lot for the
Those
for the
persons
first to.
At the airport there.
I mean, and even so, sometimes you look at the schools and you see is maybe like one kind of janitorial person who comes in, or someone who might even be on staff, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
The workload is ridiculous. But speaking of airports, so Antigua Prime Minister continues efforts to revamp LIAT. He is confident that the new government, whichever government we get after this election as him, he is confident that they will buy into the new plan. Well, you're going to be heavy, watch me like he's be saying this. His Uncle Gaston said it. Uncle Gaston said he is sure that whichever government we get, they're going to buy into the new plan.
This is so irony, right? This is so ironic, sorry. But I'll speak to what the irony is once you go through.
Every territory to which LIAT flies will be asked to purchase shares so that the burdens and the benefits can be equitably shared. The latest proposal coming from St. John's Antigua, following talks with the airline administrator and two other officials, so notes as Dominica News Online article. Win FM spoke with the source close to Prime Minister Timothy Harris, who said the government of St. Kitts and Nevis had not received any official request or communication regarding the proposal, and should a request be made, the government would begin discussions.
Son Gaston, what's that?
He put it up in his status. Well, I mean, technically the people on his status is the people that he want to reach, so, you know.
Regional politics is, that's not bad.
The Gaston Brown-led cabinet said last week that talks were primarily to discuss the future of the cash-strapped regional carrier, including its role and expansion. In the proposed new LIAT, the salaries, wages, and other emoluments will take up a smaller part of its cost of operations. Currently, 3 aircrafts are being utilized, as opposed to 10 aircrafts before the collapse of LIAT.
Wait, so all them flights are going on this three planes?
3 planes, friend.
What?
3 planes.
No wonder you got to go Guyana to come St. Kitts from St. Thomas.
Because it's only 3 planes and I got a lot of stops to make.
What are you saying?
What am I saying? What is he saying?
Wow.
And that information came from Antigua's Information Minister, Melford Nicholas. He said the scheduled plan for the new LIAT is intended to reflect the commercial needs and fulfillment of the territories. Any destination requiring more flights than has been deemed necessary would make a special payment to realize its ambition. A minimum wage revenue guarantee would be applied in order to determine what the cost would be. All this comes on the heels of reports from Suriname that CARICOM heads of governments are making moves to address the issues plaguing the cash-strapped regional airline LIAT. They have all agreed to meet later this month, possibly between July 22nd and 30th. Tim ain't in this. Tim can't be in this. Tim busy. To appoint an aviation consultant and put mechanisms in place concerning LIAT. Well, Jermaine Abel of SKN Vibes recently spoke with the Prime Minister of Antigua, Gaston Brown, on the proposal, and Brown said, in an integration movement, you need reliable and sustainable transportation. And I think that Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip Pierre, and Minister Ernest Hillier have gotten the issue right, and we are prepared to work with them to work with other Caribbean states in order to ensure that we establish a new LIAT that will be placed on a path of sustainability and viability.
A couple of things I want to.
Hold on, he has one more thing to say about us. even if he knows that we're heading to the polls on the 5th, so he said, even if there is a change in government in St. Kitts and Nevis, I believe the new administration will understand that we have no choice but to collaborate with each other to sustain this regional airline, which will be to the benefit of the Caribbean people. You may proceed, friend.
Go back and read the headline for me, Jade.
Antigua Prime Minister continues efforts to revamp Liat. Confident.
Please stop. Stop.
Oh, you're stopping me. Tell me what you want.
No. Just pause for a second.
Oh, okay.
Who it is trying to revamp Liat?
Antigua Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown.
Okay. And what is the next part of the sentence, I said?
He is confident that the new SKN government will buy into the new plan.
Okay. So herein lies just in the headline alone lies my issue with this whole Liat situation. I believe that one of the issues with Liat is not only just the inherent difficulty, right, in terms of managing airline, right? That's difficult under any circumstances. We saw how even the biggest, most experienced airlines had been struggling. I think what makes this even more difficult to deal with is the fact of who is dealing with it, and the fact that too many times it becomes a political instrument as well. It becomes a very politicized issue.
Everything by. Can I never get your
So here we are. So here we are having politicians, none of which I'm sure have any experience in managing an airline.
Never heard one of them owning one either.
Maybe one. I don't even think any of them have ever
studied
aviation, anything to do with this, with the sort. Trying to come up with what to do with the airline.
I said something about some African investors trying to buy Liat, and then we would get some of the shares, but they would have majority. Something so.
Jade, everybody, look. The thing about it is that people recognize that because of the necessity of Liat, because of some of the goals of CARICOM and stuff like that, a well-run airline has potential to be profitable.
But
The problem is when we bring a lot of these things, let's be honest, there are very few success stories coming out of things like CARICOM and things. We could speak about perhaps CXC, maybe the CCJ.
CARICOM something.
Right, the CCJ, CXC.
You can't watch me tell you, no friend.
What needs to happen, Jade? And the silver lining in this entire story is the mention of the recognition that there needs to just be appointed a specialist to deal with it, right?
Simple.
But
they exist, you know.
This is what needs, Jade. Find someone who has worked in aviation, managing airlines. There are airlines all over the world. I don't care where they come from, Jade.
Literally. Except for, just don't choose Spirit.
It's a successful airlines.
You're right.
So, but there are people who have this type of expertise. Bring them in. You could even have several persons to come in and do several proposals, do several assessments, things that need to happen from top to bottom. Everything from what the proposed scheduling, how many aircraft, everything down to proposed wages, right, for the persons working. A full assessment of what is needed, and this is what I suggest they do. It shouldn't be, hey, what we need to do to save Liat. No. We've gone past that. What is it? This is the problem I have with the politicians. The politicians, they keep going, we need to save Liat, we need to save Liat, we need to save Liat. No, we need to facilitate intra-regional travel. That is the bigger question.
Yeah.
So, of course, Liat will have a huge role to play in that.
And that's
but,
the OGs, the originals.
But at the same time, they must understand that that should not be the approach, in my opinion. Because what is happening is that, for instance, now we're in a situation where a lot of the smaller airlines that you would have expected to pull some of this strain, coming out of COVID, filling in some of these routes that may not right now be, Aliat might not be able to service because of the regulations, stipulations.
The fact they only have 3 planes.
No. The regulations, the stipulations, and just the hard time given to those smaller airlines. They're not able to function in the way that they need to. So who suffers?
Us?
The region. The region is who's suffering.
I don't understand.
Whether it is the amount of tax they put on the flights, whether it is how hard they make it to get the licenses for the airlines. It's like, what it is that we're doing?
They just can't get over the fact that Liat is not what they want it to be.
But
so everybody else must suffer.
But Liat won't be what it should be and what it could be if we continually just allow so much of the decision-making process to rest in the hands of people with no expertise in aviation.
But that is literally, I don't understand the obsession with Caribbean leaders and not knowing what to do, but yet coming up with plans. How do you guys do that?
But it's okay. Like, my thing is, it's okay, it's okay if you don't know.
Yes, no, we can't know everything. But how you don't know and still coming up with the plan? Like, there are people that exist that know these things. They're out there. We see them all the time. We hear from them all the time. But y'all so stuck in y'all ways that y'all refuse to let the people with the actual expertise, the actual knowledge, the people who actually went to school, studied, did all these things, actually help y'all. And we ain't telling y'all, ask them for help for free. Pay them and let them do what they know they could do. We still in, it's 2022 and we're still having this problem. We can't travel from country to country 30 minutes away. The islands, we could literally stand up outside and see the islands, but we can't reach them. All because they refuse to just sit down and realize, guys, we might not be the best people to figure out these things because none of us here studied aviation. We don't own a plane nowhere. We don't know how to run an airport. But we can find the persons who can.
Yeah, and again, I think one of the bigger issues as well is that the question that is being asked is the wrong question. The wrong question. They keep asking,
how to save Liat?
What can we do to improve Liat or save Liat or make Liat better?
Sail and crash, man.
I mean, it's part of the answer, right? That is part of what needs to be asked. But again, I think the bigger question needs to be, hey, what does effective and efficient intra-regional travel look like? What does that look like? And how can we get there? That's full stop.
I mean, it's so hard for them, They usually look at America for the blueprint for everything. America has 20 airlines. Granted, some of them ain't the best. Don't look at those ones. But we literally have airlines that come here from the US, from England, from all over the place. Where we can just look at them and say, you know what? What are they doing that we can implement into our region? It's so much closer.
No, but you see, J2D is making an interesting comment. He said, airlines are generally not profitable. They're basically a public good. Even in the bigger countries, the airlines only make money because of their loyalty programs. These loyalty programs effectively turn them into banks, which is something that we've seen discussed several documentaries where that same thing is kind of touted. There's a nice one on Bloomberg on YouTube, right? You can check it out if you're really interested in how airlines work and stuff like that. No,
might have to be.
The issue that I have with that statement is that there's a couple things. The region itself, our region, is a bit different, right? It's a bit different. I believe the demand is not the same.
Because we can't afford it.
I think also the distance isn't the same.
Definitely not.
What I think happens is that we're going to have to restructure what it is that we do. Is it that and again, I am not the expert, so is it that Liat has to function almost like a bus system? Or is it that you're going to have to figure out what is the most efficient time for airlines to be in the air? Because the thing is, airlines spend most of their fuel on takeoff, right? So you don't want a plane to go up in the air and take off 5 minutes later. No, that is what I'm saying. So if we're talking about efficient and inefficient thing, to me, what that is saying that Liat, at least as it's structured now, can't handle what it is we want to handle. Like you say, you want to be able to jump on a plane, go to island 5 minutes away in 5 minutes. So what you might have to do is to empower some of the smaller airlines, empower pilots who have their own planes, make it more feasible for them to run their companies. You have airline, for instance, you look at Anguilla, you have Transanguilla, Anguilla Airlines, you have several airlines, Winair, but it is very difficult for them to function because of the stipulations put in place by them, by the governments, and all they're really doing is trying to stamp out competition, which really what you need them to supplement what Liat is doing.
Imagine you're trying to stamp out competition, but you don't have a replacement.
Yeah. Maybe Liat need to have smaller airlines to function.
Something, but you can't come tell the smaller airlines that they can't function where you don't have no other options. What is the other option?
Yeah. And this is what they do. This is what they do in some of the other areas. For instance, you book a American airline, but because of the area that you're flying into, or the demand, because of the length of the trip, etc., you might end up flying on another airline as like a sister airline, right? Because so for instance, what if I go to the Liat website and I book, let's say, going from here to Sabre, for instance, right? But I could book that on Liat. But really, when I get to the airport, I'm really flying on a Winair, right? Maybe that's something that we need to look into, where there's more of a partnership between some of the smaller airlines, trying to really, help to build them up so that they could effectively supplement what Liat is doing. But I don't know. I don't know. And the problem is, I believe that the persons who continually are looking at it, they don't know either, and nobody seems to recognize that. So.
Yep.
Or you could go to Liat and you could book from St. Kitts to Sabre, but really, that might include a boat ride. You know what I'm saying? With effective ferries that aren't necessarily little fishing boats that might topple over if the wind blows too hard. So the kind of things we're gonna have to look at. But the conversation needs to widen from, hey, let's save Liat, to, hey, people need to be able to move around. If we say we're trying to have proper integration, how do we do that?
So you want to talk? Remember last week I mentioned something about this lady and chipping sauce?
I think people actually want to get on this. So let's take one caller. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Good morning to you, Azim.
Morning.
And morning to Jade as well.
Morning.
And the other, on Saturday I spoke to Mr. Cornelius about the... Matter of fact, let me commend you both for the balanced manner in which you carry out your program.
Thank you.
And I've always listened to this program and I enjoy listening to it, especially both you and Mr. Cornelius. Obviously the elections are on, and I raised the point with Mr. Cornelius before this Don Anderson poll was published that apparently because people are now saying this Don Anderson poll, it's obvious that the Prime Minister is paying these polls.
Sorry,
you talking about airlines?
I don't mean to cut you off, right? But we're talking about airlines. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, I know. I was listening. I was hearing you referring to the Liat matter. Oh, well, on the Liat matter, before I go to the Don Anderson matter, let me refer to the Liat.
No, that's the only matter we're discussing. The only thing we can talk about right now is the Liat matter. We can't talk about anything else.
Well, let me discuss the Liat matter, because that is one that is pressing. The problem with Liat is that Liat has a structural issue, right? And Liat, if you remember that Liat moved from 1978, the old Liat, to a Liat partly 2020. because it was dissolved, right? So the challenge that Leat faces is that Leat has historically a problem in the region. A lot of people, especially with passengers over the years, who have been treated a particular way. I am privy to certain information that I will not totally disclose, that I know that Leat has 2 investors have approached Leat to purchase Leat 2020. Yes? But the debt of Leat is so great. Leat's debt is over 50-something million. We're not talking in EC dollars. Right? And so it is virtually very unattractive for any person who is going to take up their money and put it into Leat. And so that is one of the challenges we're having. And so unless we really, the countries and the OECS and CARICOM comes together and decide what they're going to do seriously about this Leat matter, and then the role of Antigua, because it has been also too many administrative bundling that has created the issue that Leat faces. For example, they bought an ATR 7200 aircraft, 4200 aircraft. That is not designed for these short hauls. It's very it's not fuel efficient, yes? You're running an aircraft with sometimes with 10 and 15 people. So it's putting you in this excessive position of debt. So it needs a structural overhaul.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
We agree.
And in addition to the structural overhaul, the governments of that participate in Leat, which I know would say it's Grenada, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Antigua, because the others have virtually said we cannot do anything more with Leat, need to come to the table and decide what they're going to do. If they're going to divest it and allow private investors to take up the route. Because Leat is selling Leat as Leat 2020, but it is saying to the investors who come to the table to have discussions with them, I can only sell you Leat 2020, but I can't give you the route. You're going to have to go all out of your way to go for the route. And that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I feel like we write off debt for so many things regularly. Like, you know, we always find money for wars, we find money for unnecessary things. Why we can't just write off and Leat debt, start fresh?
Who is we?
Men or whoever, men or who they are.
Oh, okay.
No, but St. Kitts and Nevis just did that the other day. Remember in 2020 they were given
so
$11 million.
Can't just do it and then Leat won't be in debt?
The issue too is that regional travel is not encouraged by the state. So, for example, if Leat flies to Barbados, the taxes, the landing fees alone in Barbados,
half a ticket,
is problematic for it.
It's literally half of the ticket is taxes, you know.
Exactly.
Literally. 50%.
I don't really think they want us to travel interregionally for real.
That's what I tell you.
No, this is my, and for example, I can say aviation is a field that I've worked in for many years. I'm young, but I've worked in it for many years, and I also have worked close with an aviation consultant. When we look at the fees, the landing fees in this region, for example, there's an open skies agreement in the northern part of the Caribbean. So Jamaica has an open skies agreement with some of the countries, which allows a reduction in the landing fees. If you don't fix the landing fees issue, Leat will continuously be in debt, because if Leat gets in the air for 4 times a week, every minute it lands in a particular country, that is fees. It has to pay.
Yeah.
So there's just really a structural adjustment, and the region needs to be serious about regional intertravel. We're not serious about it. We talk the good talk and all CARICOM and this, but we have never done anything seriously to address this issue. Anyway, I'll not keep you long. I know there must be other persons who want to wait for the program.
I appreciate your contribution.
Thank you for actually knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is my forte, even though politics is one of my hobbies as well. But at another time, tomorrow we'll talk the politics.
Yeah, man. We have all week.
Yeah.
All right, all the best to you both.
All right, thank you. Well, yeah, Jay, and let's be honest though, before we even go into that, though. I don't tell her, you know, if government take up tomorrow and decide they're going to sell coke, they'll lose money, you know. The governments are one of the most inefficient. and it's true, and it's true, right? So when you take a industry like aviation, which traditionally you have to get creative, you have to find ways to cut costs, to limit wastage. These are all the things that are diametrically opposed to everything we know about government.
I don't. This is why they need to just let the experts deal with it. A lot of this money wasting and problem they're creating for themselves could be avoided if they just consulted with experts. Simple enough, because why would you buy a plane knowing that it's not fuel efficient for you going 30 seconds away? Like, why would you do that?
The expert was somebody's friend, Jane. The expert was somebody's friend.
Somebody who I used to go to school with. I got you. Well, let's move on to something quickly because, if we talk about late, we're going to just get a whole headache. So, this one is coming out of the NYC and it's spicy.
Oh.
Yes. So, a blinged out Brooklyn bishop was robbed mid-sermon and the armed thieves made off with $400K in jewelry. First of all, why are you at a sermon with $400K, sir? Are you at a Nipsey Hussle concert?
The Lord is blessing me right now. What do you want the man do? You don't want the man to show up the blessings? Bling bling.
He think he performing for Jay-Z or something?
Jade, the man just was showered with blessings that just happened to come in the form of diamonds.
Oh, I get it now. Well, 3 thieves were caught on tape barging into a Brooklyn church on Sunday, where controversial Bishop Lamar Whitehead, an ally to Mayor Adams, was preaching and snatched $400,000 worth of jewelry off of him and his wife.
You know this. I don't know if they mentioned it in the rest of the article, but this was all live on the live stream.
That's what I said. It said caught on tape.
Yeah, it was literal in the church.
Man, I'm going to go back and watch this. I think I have to go back and watch this here.
Yeah, it was on the live stream. Nobody decided to move the camera.
No, for what? Don't I see?
It's a wide shot, guys. Wide shot. Zoom in on the gun, please. Zoom in on the gun. Great.
Production matters. Yes. Whitehead, the Rolls-Royce driving bishop who recently tried to broker a deal for the surrender of a man accused of a subway murder to the mayor, was preaching at Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry on Remsen Avenue near Avenue D in Canars about 11:15 in the morning when 3 masked bandits stormed into the church, the pastor and cops confirmed. When the armed marauders appeared, the stunned Whitehead, who was wearing a clerical color, burgundy vestments with gold trim and a long gold necklace, stopped his sermon and crouched down saying, "Yo, all right," as he lay on the floor. Video obtained by the Daily News shows. Only his legs and feet can be seen on the recording as he lay on the stage as the men bent over him and rifled his pockets. The armed men, who can be seen in the video dressed in black and carrying handguns, removed the expensive bling from Whitehead and his wife, police, and the bishop said. Another man seen on video sitting with what appears to be a prayer book watches impassively as the crime goes down. Well, what you want him to do?
Jared, you need to see the video. The video, when the guy is sitting down right there with the book, priceless.
The man just chilling?
Priceless.
Chilling like the man bishop ain't getting robbed?
The man was literally deep in prayer.
I thought all about this pastor stuff. How come I ain't trying to save the pastor?
That's like God help those who help themselves.
You're definitely going to help. As if you're definitely going to help, man.
I mean, that is not in the Bible. That is not scripture.
It's not?
It's actually not scripture.
You lie.
It's kind of like, you know how people believe like this 24 virgin thing is like in the Quran?
Uh-huh.
No.
Wow.
And like people, I've met people who believe like Santa Claus is like part of like Christian doctrine.
Wow.
So yeah. But yeah, this thing about like God help those who help themselves, that's not actually written in scripture.
Oh. Well, later. Wait. What is the way with the man Kato?
Jade, it's a Rolls Royce.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
It's a Rolls Royce.
Mercedes Benz.
Oh, you went with the Benz. You went with the Benz.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
But they are still being sought by police. After they were gone, the pastor got up, colored a screw, and walked out of frame of the video. Later, he took to social media to put the crime in context. I was born without jewelry. Jewelry don't make me, Whitehead said after the attack in a live video to his 1.3 million Instagram followers.
How else you think the man get the change, Jade? Gotta be, kind of be popular.
Well, the man started to spit some bars here.
Yeah?
The man said, I ain't never scared.
I ain't never scared, yo.
I'm the more question.
I ain't never scared, yo.
I tell this man want to be a rapper, you know. As him, this pastor wants to be a rapper.
Yep.
The man said, I ain't never scared and I'm not up here being boastful or talking bad about nobody. But you have these women and children crying still, he said. That's not gangster. That's a layup. Like, oh, I robbed the church. You don't get no points for that. What the woman and children do?
No, what he's saying is that...
Oh, they do traumatize women and children.
Yeah, because he good, but now we have all these people who are traumatized and whatever.
The man even dressed like a rapper.
And that you all really and truly ain't gonna points because it's a
Rob
church.
Well, technically, they didn't rob the church. They robbed you. The church was fine. They traumatized the church, but they robbed you. So I don't know if it's the same thing. Unless the church money was on your neck. And then they definitely robbed the church. But you know. He said he's still pushing, they're still going. I am not a person from the suburbs, I'm from Brooklyn. This man want to be a rapper so bad. Let him read no more. Why am I this pastor?
That was my takeaway. But no, I mean you can't no weaky jokey pastor in the hood. So you got a weaky jokey pastor in the hood.
The pastor in the hood also knows not to wear his however much his $400,000 worth of. Why would you got a Rolls Royce just packed in the hood?
To show people that living a Christian life pays, Jade.
Oh, it does.
Just like the rappers them.
So come on, a lot of these Christians go into the church for help because they need food, they need help, they need bills
Right.
paid.
So why would you go to the church for help? Because you recognize there's money over there.
Yeah, but I don't think the money on his neck.
Yeah, but if you have 400,000 on your neck, how much you think we have in the coffers?
Oh.
Yeah.
Vibes,
Jade.
Vibes, boy. Well.
Like, I mean, for me, I don't want to lose sight of the real issue here. The real issue is that...
Why y'all robbing the churches?
Yeah.
Y'all go hell and I ain't feared God.
Yeah, there's obviously a breakdown in reverence for the church and what people, how people feel about them things now. There's definitely a change here.
Obviously.
Just like, I mean, you had people running into a supermarket, a business, and deciding to take what was in there and thinking, no, can't support them things.
No, man.
But when you start talking about the churches now, whether or not you believe these people are righteous or not, one, that ain't for you to decide. That's the first thing. And then two, it's like, really? Really?
Bye.
I know Jackie with him, man.
You know, just peeping.
We can call out, yeah. Let's put on camera. Guys, we actually just hailing up the persons who are coming in to talk on the upcoming program. So make sure you stick and stay. The movement.
Yes.
But Jay, this is very unfortunate.
I never wait till the back about the church. I am really in the church. Boy, I got a hat, boy. I tell you, these people ain't afraid God no more, you know?
Yeah.
They ain't afraid God no more, boy. They ain't respect the sanctity of the church, nothing.
Do not touch God's anointed.
Huh?
Yeah, as we get over that whole part about how serious this is, the man definitely want to be a rapper.
I tell you, as if nobody can convince me.
No, he definitely want to be a rapper.
He don't be rapping home.
No. Maybe he just recognized he didn't have that particular skill.
So he just
but he was so he wasn't a great rapper, but he might have been a good public speaker, and so preaching was the next best thing.
Well, he working out for him. That's smart change, man. 400K. Small change. That's what the man say. He ain't born in jewelry. And he ain't never dollar in cement the fact that he want me rap. The man literally quoting.
Yeah, rap lyrics.
So, maybe there was a lesson in this. God placed those young men in the area to humble and reaffirm God's anointed.
So God work out like, well, we give another job moment.
Yes.
Just take everything he got so you get closer to me.
Exactly. Deep Christians believe in everything happen for a reason, right? There was a purpose in the message. There was a purpose in the message.
I believe everything happen for a reason. I just ain't one of the people who always believe the reason's a good one.
No, when I said the reason was a good one. There wasn't.
Yeah, it can be like, but yeah, this was just. I think it was just so funny that this thing happened like on a live stream.
I'm going to watch it, later.
Yeah, you have to watch the video because the reactions from some of the people in the congregation, priceless, Jade.
What said they
priceless. I think some of them believed it was like part of the sermon, you know.
Oh, I tell you that.
I think some of them felt it was like, you know, when the preachers might use like props or whatever to kind of enhance the message. I believe some of them actually thought it was.
No, they might have, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of unbelievable. You're just in church on a Sunday.
You don't believe it's going to happen.
And two gunmen just already rob the pastor.
No,
what?
But you have to understand now, this bring up a bigger question now, whether or not churches are going to have to start doing security. Imagine you go to your church and there's like a metal detector. Or you go to your church and you got to take a pat down before you go in from the bouncers outside.
But as him, so you feel.
But we might get to that point.
Unless these bouncers are paid off-duty police, what is security guard supposed to do with that baton?
But that's what I'm talking about, Jade.
Oh,
I'm talking about appropriate security based on the threats.
With the batons and tasers.
Yeah, no, based on the threats.
Because that wasn't going. No, your security get robbed. The pastor get robbed. Everybody just robbed.
Yeah.
You want to take one call before we go?
Okay, quickly. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. You may make your contribution. Oh, lost that caller.
Well, okay. Well, it's time for us to go. Since we have no calls, it's time for us to... Okay. Quickly, you have 1 minute.
Good morning, caller. You have just a few seconds to make your point before we move forward. Good morning.
The 1 minute might be too much. Greetings, family. Give thanks to the reason, man. Give thanks to all the reasoning. You know, say, yeah, we have a serious problem with the consistency and maintenance. And nastiness, what they call littering. And speaking about that, solid waste, change your motto. Waste doesn't matter. Cleanliness matters every time. And as Mr. Blake would say, we also have a problem with lateness. We have to get it together, you know? Yeah, well, give thanks.
All right, man, I appreciate it, T-Truth. Thank you.
No.
All righty then. Anyway, it's nomination there. So, look out for all of the candidates.
You're going to unfollow any of the candidates?
Follower.
Okay.
Follower.
They're gonna be live and they're gonna probably be a bunch of lives going on the party.
There is a whole 20 schedules that I've seen.
If there's any two people in here to want to nominate me, check me. You got my number. Just run down there. Why not? Why not? At this point.
Listen, from some of the candidates that I've seen, you might be a better choice, man.
Me know what you're talking about, Jane.
Oh, okay.
Because when you start to call name, you're going to be nobody.
Who name did I call?
Stone me downstairs, yeah.
I call about the name. All I say is I feel personally. Anyway, let's go to here.
Guys, it's been fun. Again, apologize for yesterday, but we are back.
Mm-hmm. We couldn't make it yesterday, but I was beyond our control.
And we didn't say it, but I have to say thanks to everybody that called, message, and genuinely was concerned and checked up on us.
Even if I rough us up a bit.
Yeah,
even if I rough us up a bit, bye.
Yeah, but we appreciate it so much, all your concerns, and recognizing that we really do have a lot of people who enjoy what we do here and are very much like invested in what it is that we do. All right, guys. We got to leave. We got to go. We got to listen back. Thank you again. If you joined us on Facebook, YouTube, or one of the other digital platforms, appreciate it. If you joined us on 98.9 FM dial, big up to you. All right. Guys, please remember.
Somebody want your details so they can nominate you.
Oh, too easy. Just shoot them over. Tell us what time. I think nomination. You could
There's a
nominate
schedule.
between. No, but I think you could do it between. I think it started at like 8. There's
Yeah,
a little.
okay.
There's a little break between 1 and 2, and then you go back till 4.
Okay, I got
So that's
time.
I got time. Maybe this afternoon we will make a move. But yeah, guys, appreciate you so much for being a part of what it is that we do here. And please remember to spend more time living your content than posting it. This preacher needed to cool and he responds. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. But guys, also remember,
Why we again, Anyway.
you can't be everybody's cup of tea. Just ask the candidates. See you guys.